Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's good to see that many of us trekked out today, but the weather's a lot better than it was a few days ago. So happy New Year. Welcome to the new year. No, it's starting out kind of dreary, huh? But it'll get better as it goes along. Well, that depends on your perspective. So, before I get started on today's sermon, I would just like to encourage us coming into this new year that we get more serious about our walk, that we get more in depth on our walk, that we come out to Sunday school or Thursday morning service, Wednesday night Bible study for us and for our children, because we really need to make sure that we know what's going on in the Word, so we can know how to walk in the world. Because right now it's so much confusion, so much lying, so much everything, and it's all set to distract us from us having a true walk. But the only way we can prevent from falling prey to those things is if we are putting in time and effort to prevent that from happening. Because if we're not putting in that time and effort, then we're just kind of saying, oh, it's no big deal. And remember, we'll stand before God one day, and that's separation of the wheat and the tare, separation of the sheep and the goats. And that's not the time to say, oh, well, So that's why I'm throwing it out here now. So this is part 2 in the sermon series, Putting Things in Perspective. So I hope you were able to see part 1 last week. Since we were not able to be in service, I put together a video and did the first part. And so it was preparation for the other 3 parts of the series. And the key things I talked about was counting the cost of discipleship and putting our spiritual house in order, and also remembering the purpose and plan God has for our lives. I think part of our stumbling block is we haven't counted the cost of discipleship. We come to service, we became Christians, and we just started walking, we just started learning, but we didn't know initially that it was going to cost us some things. And so if we haven't truly sat down and counted the costs and said, hey, this could cost me relationships, this could cost me jobs, opportunities, whatever it may be, and you come face to face with that and say, I'm following Christ. Once you make that statement, that commitment, then you can walk properly, putting our spiritual house in order. You know, I talked about us with self-reflection, with repentance, with a change in behavior. We have to do some soul searching. We can't keep letting ourselves off the hook. We have to call ourselves to be who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to change our behavior, and that's what spending that time in the Word does for us. It shows us whether or not we are in the proper place. And so when you look at those things, we're able to move forward. So that brings us to today's sermon, which is talking about the importance of identity. And so the last 3 sermons are an acrostic. It's an acrostic, you know, that's where each letter stands for something. And so today we're dealing with identity. So that's the I. And so, give me a second, put my glasses on over here. And so when we look at this series, it'll help us stay the course. And so that brings us to point number 1, that we must know who the God is we serve. We must know who the God is we serve. And I say this because when we look out in the world, there are so many different versions of who God is and how to get to heaven and all of